Yo, what is up, guys? Is a local Bulls fan here. Some of you know me personally, Alejandro. Some of you don't. Well, right now, what we know is we're gonna get into some basketball. What we know is we are big fans of the Chicago Bulls, even if we're not from the local Chicago area. I am born and raised, but it's alright if, some people aren't, all across the world. And that's how basketball is. Today, we are going to get into Lonzo Ball's injury status and how that might impact Iowa Sumo. So let's just jump straight into the basketball. Let's break down the beginning of the season for both of them, or the overall season, I wouldn't say. Beginning more so for Lonzo, later for Io. Lonzo averaged 13 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, about a block and 2 steals, shot overall 43%, 42, while Io averaged 9 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, half a steal, and almost a full steal and half a block, while shooting about 52% from the field and 38% from the three. Stats don't tell it all, but it's a great starting point to really analyze what both guys have been doing all season. I know Lonzo was definitely pushing the pace before he got hurt, while Io was definitely that defensive enforcer coming off the bench, guarding guys like Trae Young, Jason Tatum, definitely putting in that work. It was great to have them both. At the same time, while Lonzo went down, Io really stepped up. And now that I think that Lonzo's going to be out for the beginning of the season, is going to really tell what Io's going to do for the rest of the season, as well as how he's going to start off and what that really tells for maybe his whole career. We'll see here. We have Io's stats as a starter. Started about 40 games, 11 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. Those are pretty impressive numbers, while still maintaining the same amount of shooting percentages. Io definitely did his thing as a starter, coming in guarding, filling that role very well. He definitely was great on the pick and roll. Vucevic had him looking like he was back in Orlando a couple times, I think in March, February-ish. We'll see there. I think the most important part when we continue to look at this is Io is not going to replicate what Lonzo did in the beginning of the season. I don't really expect Io to do those full court pass to Zach or anything like that by any means, no. But what I want to see from Io is definitely, that pick and roll, half court offense, pushing the pace, really filling in. I feel like Lonzo deferred to Zach and DeMar a lot because the stats weren't really flashy by just looking. So I feel like Io might do the same when it comes to that, as well as Io's not really much of a shooter. He's more of a slasher. But we'll get into more of that right now. We talked about what Io needs to improve to take this leap to become the Bulls starter, to really solidify himself and stand out amongst the other guards. I think first things first is offensive aggression. Overall, he was able to hit, clutch shots, things like that. But I never really saw Io, get the ball, do his thing. There was moments like that, yeah, but it wasn't anything consistent. Although Io was a pretty consistent all season round, except at the end, but that was the entire Bulls team really. Ball handling. I feel like to solidify himself as a true starting point guard, he definitely needs to step up his bag in terms of handles, little things like that. I think his playmaking is pretty good up there, so it'll translate well, but handles definitely need to improve. And lastly, I think the jump shot. Don't get me wrong, it works, but his offhand is giving a high 5, if you notice in the picture, which isn't bad because it was going through in college as well as in games. Considering guys like Sean Marion were shooters, I could be completely wrong about that, sorry guys. However, I do think he needs to improve his jumper. He needs to be a little faster, especially off the catch and shoot. overall, because you're gonna have moments, the big moments, where Zach and Lamar doing their thing, or Vooch in the post, and they're gonna need to dish it out to somebody, and that person is definitely gonna be Io if Lonzo's gonna be out. I think other factors to think about before Io gets that starting spot is the other guards the Bulls have. You have Alex Caruso going to bring that defense that the Bulls need in that starting lineup. I'm not too worried about Dalen Terry starting. He's a rookie, 18th pick. I don't really. His handles definitely aren't all the way there. From Goran, I could see the veteran, the way Billy Donovan likes to play, but at the same time, the defense. Goran might start, but he might not get all the minutes the way Io might. Kobe, to me he's a shooting guard. He doesn't really need a playmate like that. Kobe definitely needs to get in his bag and be that scorer as well. I think that'll be more of his role. That's his game, rather than trying to come in, do all these things and whatnot. I feel like deferring him off the bench would definitely be great. But who knows? We'll see. Overall, I have these projections for what I think Io season is going to look like. I know on the left-hand side it says if Lonzo's out majority of the season, and the right-hand side is Lonzo returns midway. But I feel like the left-hand side represents more of what I want, while the right-hand side represents more of what realistically is going to happen. Just because I really want Io to blossom, but at the same time, he could just replicate a little bit of what he did last season, which isn't bad. Definitely would be great at a higher volume. But at the same time, that drastic improvement to have like 13 points, 4 boards, and almost 7 assists, I think it will definitely mean a lot for the Bulls, as well as I like seeing Zach play off ball a lot. We have a lot of guys on the team that could play off ball and would really help out Io, considering he made Kofi Coburn look like an all-star over here at Illinois. It's definitely something. There's a couple clips I know he's definitely his playmaking is there, but I think the assist is where we're really gonna see this season if Io's gonna do it. If he's gonna take the leap, make sure he solidifies himself, stands out over the rest of the guys as the starting point guard, to make sure he gets his money overall. This is his final year in his contract. Make sure the Bulls pay him well. Io does his thing. Overall, I really feel confident going into this season about Io taking that starting role. Not just, the Chicago bias or anything. I think hearing his interviews, he's shown he wants to be that guy. He's ready for that challenge. And I think he's ready for that challenge as well. And the Bulls could definitely come in and surprise a lot of people once again, considering they're viewed as a play-in team now, especially with that Donovan Mitchell trade. But who knows? We'll see. Hopefully Lonzo's ready to go, and this video means absolutely nothing. But till next time, thank you guys.